Chapter 34 of Boruto has done an amazing job of concluding the Mamushi arc, as well as making me really curious about the next direction of the story. Almost everything I could have sworn I knew would happen, from Eida getting devoured, to Code using Mamushi's thorn bulb for a power-up, to Inojin becoming a blind ninja, did not happen, and that just makes me even more curious. Before I cover the plot, I want to point out how this chapter has finally given us a dope cover of Code, and as a Code fan for better or worse, I was glad to finally see it. None of the time skip covers so far have failed to pique my interest, and I hope it stays that way. Now getting into the chapter itself, it starts off with Boruto reminding Kawaki and us as readers about the expiration date of the thorn bulbs that was covered back when they first defeated Hidari in chapter 12. Ikimoto does a good job of making us feel the tension here as Boruto talks about it. The black background combined with their well-drawn cold expressions shows us how serious the situation is. You can also tell that Boruto is thinking about Sasuke here. The short time limit explains why he was ready to cut off Kawaki's arm when he got in his way after collecting Hidari's thorn bulb. He can't bear the thought of losing his revered sensei. A very well done scene. Meanwhile, Himawari is all over Inojin, who to my complete shock isn't blind. Thanks to her, he's got his eyes back and has made a seemingly full recovery from his sacrifice. With what we saw in the Prescient's vision and the way he sacrificed himself against Mamushi, I honestly thought the guy would turn into a blind ninja who'd use his Yamanaka sentry powers to get around, but I guess that wasn't the plan. Regardless, this entire arc has skyrocketed my respect for Inojin. He's proven himself to be both a high-value leaf shinobi and a worthy future lover for Himawari. I hope we get more surprise MVPs like him in the future. Moving on, Chocho joins Konohamaru in taking Sarada to the hospital, which is interesting because we haven't seen these two spend any time together in a very long time, to the point where I wondered if they were even still friends due to omnipotence. Elsewhere on the scene, we get another brief but heartwarming sibling moment between Eida and Damon, with the first one being when Damon assured Eida he would protect her at the start of the Mamushi attack, and the second one being now, with her thanking him for protecting her. It's made me wonder why Eida seemed hesitant to release Damon at the start of the Code arc in part 1. I figured this arc would be the best time to get an explanation on that, but it's starting to not seem like we will. Hopefully I'm wrong though. As Boruto prepares to go free Bug from his tree state, Koji warns him about Code, revealing that he also had multiple prescient visions of him attempting to attack Boruto either during the Mamushi fight or after, and to think I actually believed Code would have the drop on Boruto. But what especially stands out here is a small but noticeable possibility of a team-up between Boruto and Code. Koji foresaw 3 possibilities, the 2 most interesting being Code going after Sarada as a bargaining chip for Jura, since he knows how close she is with Boruto, and the possibility of a potential team-up between Boruto and Code against their common enemy of Jura and the Divine Trees. I was very shocked to hear this one because I thought the idea of these two teaming up was nothing more than a baseless fan theory. There were too many narrative reasons for them to not team up for me to have given this a second thought, but I guess that's what plot twists are for, huh? Koji dismisses the possibility like most realistic people would, but with Boruto being Naruto's son who's inherited his idealistic heart, I have a feeling that he's going to try and make that a reality. In any case, this is definitely going to be interesting to see. With the thorn bulb starting to fade, Boruto teleports to the Divine Tree base, but not before once again joking with Inojin about letting him keep his hair, something I still find hilarious. About the Ten Tails dimension though, I couldn't help but find it very risky for Boruto to go there, seeing as there's a good chance Juro will be there ready to ruin everything. But what can I say, this is Naruto's son we're talking about. After Boruto leaves, Amado reached out to Kawaki with a toad of his own, which is disturbing but not very surprising since Koji's toads are robots made by Amado. So of course the guy would have at least one of his own. He wants Kawaki to meet up with him so they can talk, and I feel anything but good hearing the forever suspicious Amado trying to talk with the boy he requires to accomplish his goals. Who knows what this guy is planning now. Later on, we have the hospital scene, which was a roller coaster of emotions. Sakura's watching her child blind herself, but puts aside her protective feelings as a mother and tells her that she supports whatever choice she makes. Knowing this has to be anything but easy for her to say, I actually felt bad for her. Sakura understands the willingness to stand by the man she loves no matter what. It's a trait that's honestly bothered me about Sakura for a long time watching Naruto, just because of who the man in question was. But in this particular moment, it made for an unexpectedly heartwarming moment between mother and daughter. She also commends her courage in being able to face any challenge, no matter the toll, just like her father Sasuke and her uncle Itachi. I was glad to hear Itachi mention, it's been a long time and he's a perfect example of a stoic shinobi. This was a very well done scene. We're shown how Sarada is a good mix of her parents by having the best parts of the two. We also get to see the strong bond she has with her mother. which is something we haven't seen in quite a while. So far, I'm really enjoying what we've been getting from Sarada throughout the time skip, and I'm only getting more excited to see where her development takes her in the end. We also got to see her reignite her friendship with Chocho, which was a relief because we've seen how close these two were before completely drifting apart. Now they've cleared the air and have completely restored their bond. It was also nice to see Chocho start bonding with Sumire, who's starting to open up more herself, becoming more than just a class rep. A wholesome finish to what started out as an emotionally heavy scene. With Chocho now warming up to Boruto post-omnipotence, we just have to see what happens with Shikadai and Inojin as far as that's concerned. The chapter ends with Code failing to ambush Boruto and being scared off by his karma-amped Rasengan Uzuhiko, and Boruto not being able to save Bug due to Code's interference. I won't lie, I actually did feel a little bad for Bug. While I never expected the old car outer to be freed, in fact I expected Code to snatch his Thorn Bolt from Boruto and use it for a much needed power-up, but seeing Boruto try to save him and express regret for not being able to evoked some sympathy in me. Before he became a tree, I thought he was pretty funny with all the sneaky stuff he tried doing to free himself from the cyborgs in part 1. Too bad he never managed to get away from them before kicking the bucket. On a brighter note though, it was satisfying to see Boruto make Code look like a joke again. I love how the guy wasted no time in using his strongest jutsu, even though by now he's more than capable of folding him up without it. I know Boruto's pressed for time here, but it was still funny to see. He also taunts Code, which Cody found excessive, but I completely get it. Code is responsible for Sasuke being a tree, and Boruto had to spend much of the time skip carrying that thought, as well as being too weak to do anything about it. Now the tables have turned to the point where saying Boruto is far stronger than Code would be a massive understatement. It makes sense that he would want to gloat a little bit. I just hope the guy doesn't get too arrogant and lets his guard down around Code. As for Code, credit where it's due, the guy learned from his last encounter with Boruto that he can't make any sort of physical contact with Uzuhiko, not even to block it if he wants to avoid its effects. He manages to completely dodge it before retreating. Code also left me very curious about the weird looking claw he has where his hand used to be before Jura blasted it off. Is that some kind of poison needle? How does he plan to take out Boruto now that he's aware of the growing power gap between them? All I know now is that Boruto better keep a close eye on Sarada, because she's in a vulnerable state, and Code may very well set his eyes on her next. Overall, this was a pretty good closing chapter, and I'm very curious to see what's in store for us next.